All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to PTM Skill Up Show. How is everyone doing this afternoon? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, I am still not in my original studio, but hey, this studio has been serving us, so we will roll. How are you doing today? It's another beautiful day. Usually we would have this session on a Monday, but we had to move the session to Wednesday this week because we had circumstances that were beyond our control on Monday. Welcome to the Skill Up Show, where today we will be looking at how we can build trust in our relationship with our children. Very, very important. My name is Mary Beth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. I like to add that I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group we run for children, where we help children on their journey and begin to direct themselves, knowing and understanding that they are the most important people in their own lives, and that as soon as they begin to make decisions, as soon as they understand the place of decisions, then they will know that the decisions that they make today will affect them today and for the rest of your life. The Mastermind Circle is a place for every child between the age of 6 and 14. We call it the foundation ground, where we open up their minds and we point them towards all of the skills and all of the principles and all of the executive functioning skills that they will need to navigate the world on their own. We will keep talking about the mastermind, but for today, we are looking at how we can build a relationship with our children that is based on trust, how we can infuse trust in our relationship with our children. Welcome. And if you are here, please don't just be in the background. Say hello in the comments. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. Right back to you. Okay, so you did not tell us your name, or you did not fill that part that says allow StreamYard to know you so that we can see. So I can see who exactly it is, but welcome to the show. If you are on Facebook and you have a friend that needs to be here right now, why don't you go ahead and tag them? Meaning you have a friend who is a parent of a young child and needs to know what it is that we are doing here, then why don't you go ahead and tag them, because there will be value in this session. All right, if you are on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is a good time to hit the subscription button and subscribe right now so that you can follow us and enjoy from the resources that we have in that channel. So yes, let's jump right into it. Our relationship with our children is one of the most powerful tools that we have. Okay, our connection rather with our children is one of the most powerful tools that you have in your relationship with your child. Being able to connect with your child is the most, it's not just one of the most. Being able to connect with your child is the most powerful tool that you have in your relationship with your child. And trust is what it takes for you to achieve this. Now, unfortunately, trust is something that we take for granted, especially in African setting. I don't know why that is a thing. It's not just in our relationship with our children. Trust is something that the African context tends to push to the backstage, like it really doesn't matter that you are in a relationship and you can't get to trust the people in the relationship. I mean, we hear this, okay, trust being an issue in marriages, we hear trust being an issue even in our place of work and all of that. And we realize how a lot of times we push these things to the to the backstage, like, oh, it's not a huge factor or it's not important. But I promise you, it is such an important part of any kind of relationship. And it is definitely definitely very important in your relationship with your child for several reasons. Okay, now there are also several reasons why we tend to think that trust is not important in our relationship, and we're going to be looking at some of those reasons in this class. Okay, but as I said before, it is very important, and as a matter of fact, trust is essential for healthy relationship, and it's also essential for the kind of commitment that we foster in our relationship. So how committed you as a parent or the child will be in that relationship is determined, or is going to be determined by the level of trust in that relationship. It is actually essential for the overall development of your child. It is essential in how your child will honor you today and in the future. It is important in how your child perceives themselves. Yes, how you're able to build trust between you and your child. How you're able to trust the child, and the child get to trust you in return. It's going to determine how your child perceives themselves. Very important. Trust is going to determine the kind of lifelong connection that you are going to have with your child. So trust is huge in our relationship with our children, as it is in many other relationships. Whether it's your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your friends, your relationship with your parents, trust is very important. Unfortunately, trust isn't one of those things that you are entitled to, right? It is not something that you just earn by virtue of the fact that you are a parent. You don't earn trust from your children because of your position as their father or their mother, or because of your affiliation as their uncle or their aunt or their caregiver. So trust, unfortunately, is not one of those things that we acquire by position or by affiliation. Trust is one of those things that we have to intentionally curate. It is one of those things that we have to earn in our relationship, even with our children. Okay, it looks like I'm not even centralized, but I don't want this edge. Okay, but hey, let's go. So it's one of those things that you have to work towards. It's one of those things that you have to build. You have to, create in your relationship. You have to work on intentionally in your relationship. Trust is earned, and hey, it is earned early in your relationship with your child. Research actually says that trust is actually earned in the first 18 months. Studies says that trust in relationship is actually earned. The window period for the period of opportunity for you to get your child to trust you, right? When you build the foundation for trust in your relationship with your child is in the first 18 months of their life, between when the child is 0 and 18. So you see, parents, we're dealing with something here that if we don't have already, the work that we need to do is in multiple. All right. According to Eric Erickson's theory of psychosocial development, it is said that the trust versus mistrust concepts is actually comes into play between when the child is 0 and the child is 18 months old. So by the time your child is 2, the concept of trust is already locked in your relationship. By the time your child is 2. So it means that if your child is 8 and your child is 10, 12, 15, 20, and all of that, and you are not even sure that this is locked in your relationship, then there is a lot of work to be done. Because when children outgrow the window period of opportunity for certain skills and certain concepts to, be learned automatically or authentically, what happens is it's possible that we can still learn these things. But this time, it has to be with a lot of intrinsic motivation. It has to be with a lot of drills. It has to be with a lot of work from both parties, both the parents and the child. But the window opportunity where you can lock in trust in your relationship just by what you do as a parent is between when the child is 0 and 18 months old. So you see why it is essential that we know, or we have the knowledge of these things that we are talking about. So trust is a factor that determines the kind of attachments, okay, in humans, in fact, in mammals as a whole. So trust is important in the kind of attachments that you can foster between you and your child, the kind of attachment that exists between you and your child. This is for humans as well as it is for mammals generally. Okay? So the kind of attachment that your child will form, or that a child will form between them and their parent or caregiver, is dependent on how this child has come to trust this caregiver. So trust is something that will originate or emanate from you as a parent. So attachment, let me try to give you a bit of light on what attachment means. So attachment refers to how, as humans or as mammals in general, we rely on our caregivers for nurturance as we grow towards maturity. So the way your child would rely on you as a parent, the way your child would trust you and feel secure, okay, in their relationship and in their connection with you, it's going to be determined by how the child trusts you. All right, so are you following? Please, if you are following, let me see you in the comments. All right, and if you are here, don't just be in the background. I need you to say something in the comments so that I know that I have company here. You're catching the replay. Let us also know that you are catching the replay and where you're catching the replay from. All right, and if you are on YouTube and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button and subscribe right there. Hi, Grace, welcome and thank you for joining. You don't earn trust from your children because of your position. Absolutely, you don't. You don't. Do you have friends? Do you have parents of young children and preteens who need to be here right now? Why don't you go ahead and tag them? Let them join in these sessions. Let them ask questions in this session. Let them pick nuggets from this session. We know that in one session like this, we cannot give you everything because it's just a 1 hour session. But hey, it can trigger something in you that will make you begin to look for solutions. It can trigger and make you begin to see the gaps in your parenting so that you begin to look for solutions. If you do not show up, if parents do not show up, if we don't allow our friends or help our friends and family members understand that they need to show up and they need to learn, the truth is it doesn't matter how well we work on our own children. Our children will still encounter these people and it will still be a drag in their progress. So it is not the time where you learn about parenting alone and you are like, yeah, I'm cool, my children have got this, I've got this. It is a time where parenting instructions and knowledge should be a communal thing. Share with the people around you. Let's get more people to believe that parenting is not going to fall on us. It is something that we need to learn if we're going to raise effective citizens, if we're going to raise equipped humans, if we're going to raise people that will be wholesome and will make a difference in the world. The time is now and the time is here. All right? So let's move on. So as humans, we are equipped, right? We are actually equipped to be the best kind of parents that we can be. That's the truth about it. And the first thing that makes you know that you're equipped is the fact that your intentions are usually right towards your child. And apart from that, you are hardwired, right, to form close and lasting relationships with your children, or close and lasting attachments with your children. So if you're able to take this natural instinct that you have and begin to teach your children, right, you begin to teach your children what it truly means to be human. Okay, you begin to teach them what it truly means to be human, helping them understand understand that being human is not perfection. Being human is not being in that state where you cannot make mistakes. You begin to teach them that as humans, we have varying emotions that are confusing us per time. If you teach them this by the way you live, if you teach them this by understanding when they make mistakes, if you teach them this by not judging them all the time, if you teach them this by the way you accept them when they make mistakes, by the way you show up for them. Remember, we're saying that attachment or trust is built before your child is even 2. Now, what do you do as a parent that will get the child to trust you? It is in the way you show up for the child when the child needs you. It is in the way you show up when the child is crying. Toddler parents, are you here? Parents of children between 0 and 3, are you here? If you know anyone who is not here, tell them they need to be here. Okay, it starts from right there in the cradle. When your child is wet and the child is crying, those lies that they tell us and say, leave the child so that the child will be strong. There is nothing like that. At that point is where you are building, connection with the child. At that point is when you show up for the child, is how the child knows that you will be there for them. So the times that they cry and you show up, the times that they break those little, they break those little items at home and you are not on their neck, the times that they need you and you're not just walking past them, the time that you are expressing, you're talking to them, you're speaking with them, you're using rich language, you're talking to them, all of these, what you're doing is you're building connection with the child, you're communicating with the child, you are attending to the child's need. The child needs you and you show up. You show up if you have to show up 10 times, if you have to show up 20 times, if you have to show up 100 times. When the child turns, you are there. When the child rolls, you are there. When the child wakes up, you are there. When the child sleeps, you are there. When the child opens their eyes, the child is very sure that you will be there. At this point, what you are doing is you are saying to the child, I will always be here, come what may. So yes, we were actually wired to be there during this first phase of these children's life, because this is the point in their life where they are building attachment. This is the point in their life where they are looking for who to trust. This is the point in their life where they are 100% dependent. So how well you show up during this phase of the child's life is how the child learns to trust you. Okay? So many things they taught us that have made a mess of how we have been able to build this connection with our children. We're going to be looking at a few of these things. So your ability to stay in there and tell the child that you understand their confusing need. You are hungry right now, I'm giving you food. While I'm giving you food, you are crying again, meaning there's probably something else I don't know that is happening. And so I am looking out. What else can be the problem? Oh, the child doesn't like this kind of food. Okay, can I try it? So at that point, all of this is how the child is learning to trust the new world that is found himself. It's how the child is learning to understand that it doesn't matter what is going on with me, mommy, daddy is always going to be there. This is how they will build attachments, basically. All right? So attachment research has shown that children who have what we call secure attachments, children who are lucky to have parents who provide a secure attachment, or who have a secure attachment, grow up, or most likely grow up into caring, thoughtful, reflective, emotionally and socially intelligent, resilient individuals who thrive. So a secure attachment is the attachment that says, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. It's an attachment that says, it doesn't matter how many times you make mistakes. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your needs are. It doesn't matter how you fail. I will always be here for you. Now remember, all of these are the needs that your child has by the time the child is only a toddler. So what are the things that your child can possibly need at this phase that you can show up for them in this way? It could be the child is hungry. It could be that the child is not feeling great. It could be that the child is uncomfortable. It could be that the child wants to be listened to. It could be that the child wants to share something with you. All of these tiny little things that require 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes of our time. It could be that the child just wants to be cuddled. It could be that the child just wants you to drop everything and give them 100% attention. It could be that the child has broken that thing that you love very much. All of these simple things, your ability to stay in there and provide warmth even in the midst of their failure. Your ability to stay in there, provide communication and a listening ears, even at the point where you are tired. Your ability to drop your phone and give them 100% attention. All of this, your ability to allow the child the freedom to explore their environment. Your ability to say to the child, I trust that you will go and you will come. Now, this is what, first of all, the fact that you are always going to be there is what gives the child the confidence to explore, knowing that even when they make mistakes, they have you right there to save them. Okay, let me give you a clear example as a parent, right? When I was a little girl, my brother, all right, my immediate older brother used to be, he used to be the, how do I call him? He used to be that boy that nobody could beat in the neighborhood, right? He was that boy that was not afraid to go into a fight. He was that boy that in school, everybody was like, don't even look for Peter's trouble. My brother was like that. So he was like that, and so I wasn't a troublesome child, but naturally, by virtue of the fact that my brother was this person, nobody dared to look for, as in nobody dared to treat me badly. Because you know that if you try it, my brother will come for you. So imagine, so a lot of times, even when I could get into trouble with people, or you even when I wasn't a troublesome child, but just imagine that I was a troublesome child. It simply means that I would go out there and I will look for trouble, knowing full well that no matter what, I got my brother will be there, right? Basically. So that's what gives your child the confidence to go out there and try new things. So when you see your child stand on your chair to jump down, there's something at the back of his mind that tells him that whatever happens when he lands, mommy is going to be there for him. That is why your child is unafraid, because of the confidence, the kind of attachment your child has will show in how daring the child is. So that's why you see children who have the right kind of attachment are the ones who go ahead to become great inventors. They are the ones who dare into all kinds of things. Why? Because they are sure of their backing. As a matter of fact, this is the kind of relationship that God wants us to have with him, where we can go ahead and be everything that he has created us to be, knowing that we are not afraid. We have the backing of the Father. Now, because we do not, in reality, because of the way we were raised and all of that, we don't know who we are even. So even this applies in the way, we have our relationship with God, because of the way we've been raised, by people who have not made us feel secure. It's not even easy for us to have a relationship with God where we are absolutely secure, in our relationship. So this is just in me trying to throw some light in making you understand what's the right kind of attachment and trust between you and your child can do for your child. Now, let's quickly go and explore some of the factors that affect our affect our ability to create that relationship with our children that builds trust. So I hope by now, from what I'm saying, you've been able to pick that. How your child gets to trust you is something that happens in the first 3 years, okay? Experts even say by 18 months, it's already locked in. Okay, so let's look at it. Like the first 3 years of your child's life, the way you communicate with your child, the way you accept your child in their mistakes, in their wrongdoings, in their failures, the kind of support and succor that you create for the child at that point. Are we saying that at that point you should leave your children free and do as they like? No. This is why we say it is important that as a parent, as soon as before your children are born, that you are equipped such that you have created structures in your home. You have created systems in your home where your children come in and learn the right thing from the beginning. You have put a structure or system in your home where your children, from when they are little, learn systems and they learn processes. So what it does is your process is able to help you raise children without you having to be that parent who is constantly yelling and shouting and judging and all of that, because it is not in just what the children do. It is the way you react to the things that the children do. This is what will form the trust and attachment that we are talking about. If you have not put a system in your home where your children can learn the right thing from the beginning, where your children can practice the right habits, where your children can practice the right processes, where your children learn to lead themselves, learn to direct themselves, learn to be independent. Now, when this is the case, you realize that there are less and less misunderstandings. There are less and less reasons for your children to have negative behavior. There are less and less reasons for your children to keep doing the wrong thing. And so for the few times that your children will do wrong and few times that they will fail, because you have been equipped, because you are emotionally stable yourself, you are able to stay in there calmly and still assure them that there is room for learning. In fact, let's even imagine that you're a parent that didn't even know all of these things and you don't have all the systems and all of the structure. By virtue of what you're learning right now, it means what I'm saying to you is run back to yourself. Go through your own journey and find out who you are and where you need to make adjustments so that the way you react to your children or the way you respond to your children is such that it can allow you build trust and connection and not destroy, all of this. Because while you are doing this simply because, oh, I am the parent, oh, I don't know how to do it differently, oh, didn't our parents do it, and all of that, you are making a mess of the child and you are raising a child with the wrong kind of attachment. And if that happens, it's a ripple effect. It affects many other areas of the child's life, their confidence, and all of the things that I have mentioned. All right. So let's look at the factors that, hinder us from trusting or from building this trust in our children. A lot of times are cultural factors. Yes, most of them are cultural factors. Cultural factors are the things that come in many cases, right? And it does not help us build the kind of connection that we should build with our children. All right. One of them is cultural values and beliefs. Now, this differs from one place to another, right? From one family or from one cultural group or community to another. Now, we have heard of all kinds of things. There are places that you will go to, all right? Or there are even communities that you belong to, or groups that you belong to, or even families that you belong to, right? That the culture says that children are not supposed to talk when adults are talking, all right? There are communities where it is said that children are not supposed to look at the adult while the adult is talking. There are communities that say that adults are not supposed to, have that relationship where children can speak to you. So children are not heard. Children are only seen, isn't it? Now, when you are in that kind of community where children are only seen, where children are not heard, what happens in that kind of settings? What will happen in that kind of setting is that the child becomes detached from you. The child is detached from you, or the child is afraid to, come to you with their problems and with all of that. Now, if your child is not sharing their problems with you, if your child is not sharing their challenges with you, how then is the child going to? I mean, how there are you going to show up for the child enough for the child to trust you as someone that will always be there for them? And then when we talk about trust, I hope we're not just looking at trust as when someone lies to you or doesn't lie to you. All right. The fact that I know that when I need you, you will be there for me is trust on its own. The fact that I know that when I have a problem, I have someone to run to, that is trust on its own. All right. So when you are not available, then trust becomes an issue. Okay. Now, there is also communication system. When you have a communication system or you don't have a communication system, sorry, as simple as it sounds, I think there was a bit of glitch there. As simple as it sounds, there are lots and lots of families where there is no system of communication. You don't have a laid down system of communication where your children know that they will always be heard and they have an open line of communication that they can, pass whatever it is that is going on with them, with you. Now we think of communication and we think that it's something that is easy. It's not easy. If you do not create a communication system, your children will probably not speak to you about everything. All right. So when we say have family meetings where your children can sit, look at you, and your children can say to you, this is how you made me feel. Now, if you don't create systems like that, your children may not be your children may not know that it is okay for them to share how they feel per time with you. What are we even talking about? If you do not even have a system in your home where you have taught your children how to identify their feelings per time, how to speak about their feelings, and how to be free about communicating these feelings to you or whoever it is that has wronged them or has is behind certain feelings or emotions that they are going through, how are they going to be able to relate these emotions with you? That's why you see adults, sometimes you meet adults, your colleagues, spouses, and people that you know, and the person is there yelling and shouting, and you're saying, calm down, you are upset. And the person is saying to you, no, I am not upset. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. I'm not upset. No, you are clearly upset. Now, because we are not raised to communicate, or first of all, to even understand how we feel per time, we do not know how to communicate how we feel. We don't have the right vocabulary. We don't have the ability to identify our emotions per time. So these children, as children, we don't we don't equip our children this way, and so they grow up to become adults who don't have all of this. Now, if your child cannot express how they feel per time, how then will they build that kind of trust with you or that kind of connection with you? We take a lot of these things for granted, but if you stop and you look at yourself right now, look at your relationship with our parents, our relationships with our parents, we will see that something is off. Even for those of us who like to shout, we turned out well, we turned out well. You turned out well, yes. If you do something wrong, you do something, I mean, you have a deal that goes bad, you can't even speak to your parents about it. We turned out well, we turned out well. Yet, if you do something that feels shameful, you can't even speak to the closest people to you about it. It's because you are afraid of their judgments. Now we have come to the point we now lie to ourselves and we say it's because we don't want them to be disappointed in us. That on its own is trauma. Because if you have a secure attachment, the secure attachment allows you to go and come freely. It allows you to be vulnerable before this person or these people. It allows you to come clean with these people. So it is a thing. The way we react, okay, all right. So I'll come back to some of this, your statement, your comments, okay? So that is one of it. Right. Now, historical and socioeconomic factors. All right. We are coming. I mean, we are people who were colonized. Yeah. We are people who were colonized, by, different groups, right? Especially back here in Africa. We're colonized by different groups and, and all of that. And in that whole relationship, there was a time where we were subservient, right? There was a time where basically we saw ourselves as second citizens. There was a time where somehow these people brought into our system some level of hierarchy that made us think that they were higher and we were lower. And even after these people have left, some of us have imbibed this, and even in our family system, we raise our children with that master and subject kind of approach or system. So it is such that you come into a room, this is daddy's space, this is daddy's this, you don't touch this, you don't go there. When daddy comes in, you walk out. So without even knowing it, we have taken this whole master-slave mentality such that without knowing it, we're exhibiting it even in our homes. So we have culture that says, right, that the parents, some of us, in fact, some parents actually intentionally take up a false narrative that you shouldn't laugh with your children anyhow. If you laugh with your children, they would disrespect you. There are families where the children wake up in the morning and there is a system. You don't walk into your father's room, your mother's room to go greet them. There is a system where you just reach out and let them know that you are alive. So some of these systems that we have, of course, how would they build trust in our relationship? So some of these systems are the factors that have hindered us from being able to build that trust in our relationship or build a relationship where our children can trust us. Some of us, as parents, are not even available because of the kind of jobs that we do and all of that. So yes, without intentionally wanting to, build a relationship that's is not empowering, we end up doing that because we are busy. Now, in all of this, our busyness, we don't go the extra mile to put, modality in place to ensure that we are covering the gaps that our jobs are creating in our relationship with our children. So we argue and we will say, I have to make ends meet. I don't have time for this. They say, join the class. Be like, I don't have time for all of these things. Read a book. I don't have time for all of these things. Do this. I don't have time for all of these things. And our simple, message or simple excuse at all times is that we are busy, especially for the men. Well, raising children that we can't even show up for. Some fathers, have never gone for, any important events in school or anything that is important to the children. Why? Because you are busy trying to make ends meet or trying to give them a life. Now, if you are not present in the things that are important for me, for a child, you're not present that way, then how is the child going to trust you? So some of us have reduced trust to material things. No, as I said, you're not going to earn trust by virtue of your position. You're not going to earn trust through material things. That's not how you earn trust. Trust is earned by your presence and your relationship and how you foster it. The energy and the intentionality that you put into it, especially in the early years of the child's life. And how you nurture this attachment over the years by how present and how accepting and how supportive you are of the child. All right. Some of us carry this age matter at the top of our head. We have our system or our culture that says to us, when you are a certain age, when you're a certain age, people can't talk to you, people can't, be close to you and all of that. So we take this even to our relationship with the people in our homes, in our family, our children. So there is that adult and that child thing, such that they're just a fence because you're younger and you're older. So we're constantly reminding the children. All right. So we're constantly talking about your generation this, your generation that, trying to put that dichotomy between us, like saying you are there and I am here. All right. You're not trying to understand your children or bring yourself to the point where you accept, what it is that they are going through. There isn't empathy that says, oh, I understand you, I understand what's going on with your generation. They can't frolic with you, right? They can't have that relationship where they can bounce through your generation, have a peek into what life was like with you. You don't have that you don't have that relationship where you can, you can interface, or you can, move from one generation to the other. There is basically no connection, in a way that your child can trust you. A lot of us were shouting, play, play, play. Play is the language of learning. Play is the language of love. Play, play, play. If you're a toddler parent. In fact, we had a course 2 weeks ago, a free masterclass 2 weeks ago, where we were trying to teach parents how to use play to help their children build empathy, okay, to help their children learn empathy and emotional intelligence. Free course. We said just come and join that course so that you learn these things and see the power of play. A lot of us did not show up for that course. As a matter of fact, if you have not accessed that course in this group, this meeting right now, and you're going through and you're watching this right now, put in the comment section masterclass, please, and we will give you access to access that masterclass. But more than that masterclass, we have a robust, when I say robust, I mean robust. We have a robust course that is coming up in a very short while. In that course, in fact, in the first week of second week, right, in April, in that course, we call it Optimizing Play as a Tool in Your Home. We want to help parents understand how they can use play to bridge endless gaps, right, and help their children begin to learn, help build trust in their relationship. So in everything that we're talking about here, play is a huge factor. So we want to show you how you connect with your children today, especially in the first 3 years of their lives, in the first 6 and 7 years of their lives. Because at this phase of your child's life, all these things we're talking about is embedded within play. It is when you're playing with the child that the child feels secure. It is when you are playing with the child that the child connects with you. It is when you're playing with the child that the child makes mistakes and you're able to overlook the mistakes. It is when your child that you're able to see the mistake and have a conversation with the child and say to the child, it's okay. Next time we can do it this way. We can do it better. What do you think? And all of that. That is why you're telling the child, I accept you. I accept your flaws. I accept that reality that I was talking about when I said your children will have to learn how to be human. And that being human is being vulnerable. Being human is being imperfect. Being human is making mistakes. This is how you raise children who will trust you. This is how you build trust. This is how you build a secure attachment. That thing that makes your young child trust, believe, and seek to be nurtured by you as they grow into maturity. Now, if you don't have a secure attachment, that is a whole subject for another day. We will be dealing with one of these days. If there is no secure attachment, your child will seek ways to self-nurture. They will seek ways to cope as they mature. So your child will parent himself. Your child will seek ways to survive and not thrive. So either way, whether you provide the attachment, a secure attachment, or any other form of attachment, your child is a fighter. The child will find a way to live. That's what we call surviving. Your child will find ways to survive. And that survivor will show in your relationship with your child. It's very, very key. All right. So you can join. I mean, you can join the masterclass, but you can watch the masterclass. But you can also hurry up and register for this course for parents of toddlers and preschool children. If you have children between 0 and 7, this course is for you. Jump in here and be a part of this course. I promise you, it will change the trajectory. It is going to be transformational. What we do and every solution that we offer is not for you to gather knowledge and know and keep backing all the knowledge that you are gathering. We want you to be transformed. We don't do anything. We don't come here and we talk about anything that you cannot take and begin to apply. We want you to be able to take and apply something after every time you encounter us. And our courses are so robust, a whole 6-module course, that by the time you go through it, you will be equipped to apply the first 7 years of your children's life, and not the time to toil with at all. This is the time to put in everything you've got, because what you're doing right now is you're building the foundation for the rest of their lives. All right, so I'll take the next 15 minutes to go through or to share tips with you that you can use to build trust between you and your child. All right, we like to do 5s in the Skill Up show. Okay, we like to do 5. I'm going to be giving you about 5 quick tricks and all of that. But we know that all of these quick tricks, all of these ideas that we shared, is not enough for you as a parent. You can't equip yourself with free knowledge here, that one there. Parenting is a process. It's a process. And in that process, there are tools, there are resources, there are strategies that you would have to harness. And the worst part is if you're trying in today's world to think that you can parent alone. Don't do it. You cannot parent alone. I don't know whether it's today or yesterday, I wrote a post and I said, the world is such that there are many voices in your child's, what have I done? So the world is such that there are many voices in your child's head or ears per time. Too many voices. Yes, the world, the distraction are too many in the world right now. That's the reason you take your remote control. You don't find 1, 2, 5 channels. You find 1,000 channels. Everything, noise everywhere, trying to distract you. That's why you get into a space and the ideologies are too many. The perspective are too many. That's why you come, simple things like male and female. We have come to scatter even things as simple as male and female. Now we say there are hundreds that you can be. So that's why you can meet someone, the person will say, I am they, them, I'm them, right? So the world is not giving you 1, 2 options anymore. The world, everything about the world right now, I think it's a fight for as many, I think the brothers or the people who want to tell us how to live, basically, wake up and they look at one sector or look at one area and say, okay, there are not too many options here. Let's give as many options as possible. So it's with everything. Religion, let there be let there be so many options that people are confused. Which one should I belong to? Which one shouldn't I belong to? Gender, they say it's male and female. Why? Let us throw confusion around here too, so that there's a lot of confusion. Which one am I? Which one am I not? So the same thing in your child's ear. There are too many voices. So as a parent, you want to position people in their lives. You want to position people in their lives to streamline the kind of voices that your children are listening to. If you think that your children will listen to you alone, you are lying. It's not going to happen. Your children cannot listen to you as their parents alone. Daddy, mommy is just their voice. It's not possible. You're not being realistic. The children have so many voices. Now you want to strategically position the right voices that you want them to listen to. So that's why you need mentors. That's why you need coaches. That's why you need teachers. That's why you need to place them in the right environment. You can't pick their friends for them, but you can place them in environments where the kind of people that they listen to are certain kind of people who share your values and share similar values and all of that. You can position your child in an environment so that you can consciously, right, strategize the kind of voices in their ears. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Now, you need knowledge to know how to go about these things. You need knowledge to know how to do all of this positioning. You need all of this. You also need to put the right kind of voices early and teach the children how to identify the right kind of voices. That's why we say, let's start early. If you start streamlining the kind of things that they should listen to and begin to make them understand the kind of things that are valuable, then you're able to streamline the voices in their ears. So the mastermind, we even take children who are 5.5 years old, because we say the earlier the better. Let's create the right foundation. Let's point them to the kind of things that they should start listening to as early as possible. So yes, dear parents, you need to position yourself, right? Not just for tips and here and there and hacks here and there. You need to position yourself to listen to the right thing, put yourself in the right kind of community, and then seek knowledge where you can stay in there and go through the process. So if you're not reading parenting books already, please start. If you're not taking parenting courses, please start. Some of you will join groups. We say, oh, come to the toddler group. Some people will join toddler groups. The moment they finish giving you the free thing, and then they say, oh, there's more you can access and everything, you run out of the group. You start running out, looking for the next free thing. How? Then if there is no process and there's no system, you're going to be all over the place. All right? Yes. So let's go. Number one thing you want to do as a parent, if you want to raise children who will trust you, is we want to be honest and transparent. Yes. You want to be an honest and transparent person. So you see that nonsense that they tell us and they say to you, you see that nonsense that they tell you. Sorry, 1 second, please. Sorry about that. A call was coming. I'm using my my mobile phone, and the call was trying to come in. All right, sorry about that. Okay, right. So you see that thing that you do, that your child wants to go out. I mean, your child is suffering, separation anxiety and all of that. And then the child, you want to go out and the child is crying. And then you say to the child, I'm coming, and you run it. We don't do that. Don't do that. That is where we start. Remember, trust and distrust. It's psychophilosophy. At that point, trust and what do you call it? Trust and distrust and all of that is between 0 and 3, right? Psychosocial, system, basically. So all of that is happening early in your child's life. So don't be the one that is there trying to, come between your child's ability to trust you because of all of those things that they lie to you about. You see that one that they say to you, oh, when children are crying, leave them, let them cry, let them cry, let them cry, so that they know that the world is harsh. What is that? Or so that they know that they will have to, cry doesn't kill a child. It will help their lungs. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is wrong, okay? You want to be a person that is present for your child no matter what. You want to be truthful to your child about everything that you are doing. Let them know that they can trust you. Let them know that you will always be there for them. Let them know. So tell them the way it is. Tell them the truth at all times. Tell them the truth about all times. Sorry. I'm so sorry about this. Be truthful to your child. No matter what, be truthful to your child. Okay, if you can do something, let them know that you can't do it. If you're not going to be available, let them know that you're not going to be available. If you're not going to show up, explain to them why you're not going to show up. Okay, if you're going to be late, let them know why you're going to be late. Be truthful to your children. Be open. Okay. Number two, whatever it is that you say that you would do, whatever it is that you say that you would do, always follow through. If you tell your child, I'm going to show up, do everything within your power to show up. Do everything within your power to show up because you have told the child that you will show up. You cannot be someone who continues to promise and you fail, you promise and you fail, and they get to the point and they begin to tell you, you are never telling the truth. You will say you will come, you will not come, and you're laughing about it. This is you destroying or building trust in your child. The next one is you want to be consistent in everything that you do. You want to ensure that you are consistent. So, dear parents, how consistent you are will be the energy that your children will take in. This will determine whether your children would also be consistent. I said it to the parents in the mastermind circle. If you're going to teach your children consistency, then they need to see you show up consistently as well. So consistency is very key. You will create all those what do you call it? You will create timetable in your home. You will create routines. You will create schedule in your home. You will use them today. Tomorrow you will not use them, and all of that. So when your children cannot predict, when they cannot predict you, they cannot predict the system in your home. When they cannot predict anything, all of that will mess up in your children's ability to trust. Okay, 1 second. I'm so sorry about this. All right, very, very key. Now, boundaries, you have to. In all of this, we're not saying let your children be doing anyhow. Set the boundaries right from day one. If you set the boundaries right from day one, it means that your children will grow into a system that is already available. So you're not struggling with things, and you're not saying, Coach Marybeth says we should allow these children be doing anyhow so that we can have a secure attachment, so that we can be close. I didn't say that. I'm saying if the boundaries are right, then you realize from day one, this is default. This is all your children will know. So this reduces the amount of negative behavior, mismanagement, and all of that. So you have less and less chances that your children will pose those triggers that make you lose your mind and all of that. So you are better able to manage your emotions because of the boundaries and the structure that you have put in place from the beginning. This is more for you than it is for the child, I promise you. All right, because I need to go in the next minute, I'm going to add the last one. Lead by example now. And dear parents, we can I don't know, you can't be expecting from our children, we can't be expecting from these children what we are not modeling to them. If you are going to expect your child to be a certain way, then let them see you. Let them see from your eyes. Let them see through your eyes what they should be. Let them see through your eyes what it is that you expect of them. All right. So we're going to leave it right there for today. I hope you have got value from this session, because I know that you did. And yes, if you're going to raise children who will trust you, if you're going to raise a secure attachment, children who will be secure in their attachment, then you need to know that it begins with how you build your relationship from today. Now, the best time to build trust is in the first 18 months of their lives. Yes, that's what the experts say. The first 3 years of their life is a time where there is the window opportunity for a lot of skills. So yes, you can stay in there. Now, as they grow older than that, it becomes more difficult, but it's doable. So it means you will work more. There will be more intentionality on your part, more motivation on your part, and more intrinsic motivation on the child's part. All right. But hey, it is doable. So are you a parent of a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 14-year-old? I leave you with this. There is work to be done. So this is not the time to sit down and be arguing and be shouting, our parents, did they do, did they not do, did they not do, or did they do, right? There is so much you can do. There's a lot you can do right now. Let's get to work. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, I do not take it for granted that you allow us access to, your parenting journey and all of that. All right. If you'd like to be a part of the course, as we said, go ahead and use the information on your screen. You can take a screenshot of it and then reach out with that, and the team will answer you. All right. We've just moved the conference. There's a new date for the conference. We'll be sharing that. The children's conference, we'll be sharing that later today. Thank you very much again for joining me. I would see if you have any comments okay, somebody says masterclass. I'll see if you have any questions, and if you don't, we will call it a day. Please let us know in the comments what you are taking away from this class and if you got value. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye.